We got an email here, and I think it's necessary that we read it in all fairness to all the Great White fans.
Dear Rowan Garry, I often sit back in my car and laugh when the two of you go off on one of your little tirades and make fun of people or situations. But I cannot sit back and listen to your ignorance on the career accomplishments of my favorite band, Great White. First, I admit it was stupid for the band to even ask for permission, if they even did, let alone use fireworks in a small club. Some of the blame falls on the band members. This should be where the comment should start and end. Yes, I admit it. I'm an 80s child, love hard rock / metal. I play guitar. I've probably seen 200 concerts in my lifetime. As a teen, it seemed that I worked for concert ticket money, including Great White, which I saw 6 times. And obviously, neither of you two gentlemen enjoyed hard rock metal in the 80s. It was the music of the time until grunge and country became dominant in the early 90s. Just because the two of you only know one Great White song does not mean that they are unsuccessful. Your ignorance over the radio is telling listeners that Great White is a terrible band, and it influences an unknowing public. In order to educate you on the accomplishments, or it says here the accomplishes, of Great White, please read.
Honey, gather the kids around because we were wrong about Great White. I heard some information today that could be helpful about Great White.
1987, the album Once Bitten, top 30, platinum sales. Rock Me and Save Your Love, top 30 songs. 1989 album, Twice Shy. Top album, double platinum sales. Number 5 song, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. That's kind of interesting that they did Once Bitten and then Twice Shy.
I thought that was just one product.
Yeah. Top 20 song, Angel Song. Top 30 song, House of Broken Love. Also Grammy nominated. 1991 album, Hooked. Top 20 album. 1994, top 10 song, Sail Away. Wasn't that Kansas?
It was Styx.
Them too. 1999, top 10 song, Rollin' Stoned. Career album sales over 6 million, including one of the best live bands ever.
They could get a place cooking.
Okay, I'm sure you'll insert a sick joke here. And look, you just did it.
Oh, boy, I should have waited till you read that. I'm sorry.
Also remember that being popular in the mainstream doesn't mean it's quality. Don't we know it? I'm sure you'll twist my email as a loser with nothing else to do but write. I'm game. It's what you do best, you punks. But I'm not a long-haired, druggy loser in a trailer with a black AC/DC shirt on. I'm college-educated, a business owner. I reside in South Barrington. I've got 3 kids. I also have a new perspective on the information the both of you spill over the mighty microphone.
What's his first name?
Scott.
Scott, honey, it's time for dinner. Just a minute. I have to write an email, okay? Scott, the kids need to be taken, to their ice skating lessons. Just a minute, honey. I got something important here.
Well, he's a business owner. Hopefully he's doing this from his business.
I would not be at 1983 at a metal time in my life, but you would have been, and you just didn't register this band.
I was not into metal. In the early 1980s, I was still kind of stuck in 70s music, and I was also into what we used to refer to as funk.
And
but
you...
now the kids would call it
It was your generation,
hip-hop.
Ro, that stood by and let heavy metal get pushed out by grunge. And
Yeah.
while you were at it, you killed Baltimore and Dexy's Midnight Runners.
And they didn't play that on XRT. I thought it was very fancy because I would listen to XRT and all those hippies.
Duran
Who,
Duran.
by the way, the same guys are still on that radio station 22 years later.
That's right.
Flock of Seagulls.
And if Diane Burns was smart, she'd go there. They'd never touch her. Come on, Eileen. Wasn't that Dexy's?
Yeah, that was it.
Come on, Eileen.
Air Supply.
Eileen.
This is frightening. He
Come
remembers
on,
it. I was
Eileen.
listening to their CD the other day. and I decided to throw it away.
Roe was more Duran Duran, Flock
Yeah,
of
he
Seagulls.
told
No,
me-
I hated those bands.
He
too.
confided years later at the locker room of a golf course that, Jimmy, didn't you really think Duran Duran had some really hunky guys?
And how about
I loved Adam Ant myself.
Kaja Gugu?
Let's strip.
Huh? Were you a big Kaja Gugu fan?
I was a
Kaja
good head.
Gugu?
Oh, come on. There was some music back then.
Nana,
These kids
99
today,
Luff Balloons?
These kids today.
Huh?
Thompson Twins. Who can beat that stuff?
Yeah.
Pet Shop Boys. Someone said, well, never
Gary
mind.
Newman, Here in My Car?
Somebody said the Pet Shop Boys were gay, Jim. Is that what you found out?
I was shocked. I
What?
knew all the words to their
the
song.
Pet Shop Boys are what?
All right, okay, call me an idiot, but it takes on a different meaning if you think they're saying those tender songs to another man.
That's the same reaction Gary had when he found out that Marion Brooks was black. She's what?
What
Boy,
did
they
I-
do
what
so
did
much
I-
with lighting at these TV stations.
What did I do to deserve this? That one
man.
guy sings. I kept thinking of him being left by a girl. Oh, well. Life goes on.
All right, well, we have been informed about Great White.
I didn't like any of those bands. I never understood. I watched that, like, Def Leppard
You didn't
and...
like REO Speedwagon, Boston?
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
The whole metal hair band era. And you see, like, the Def Leppard behind the music, and they talk about going out to these clubs, and they would be with all these... And all these bands were all part of this whole, same group, and they'd go at night to this one club, the Troubadour in Los Angeles, which was a nightclub that broke a lot of bands in the 60s and 70s, but then it had turned into this kind of metal hair band. And then they would go home, they'd drive 2 blocks back to their house and get into 3 accidents in the 2 blocks.
And that crash pad was just a slummy-looking place where they'd have frequent and vigorous sex with groupies. What kind of a life?
Is that?
How did we miss out?
Mother.
But it was the same groupie they passed around. That was the same virus.
Right, she's now at the Center of Disease Control in a Petri dish.
Oh, man. You can't look at those guys without thinking.